I've been doing enough body work on this car that I've started to find a few good techniques I thought I would share. So this is a lower rear quarter panel, and it's got a curve that goes in this direction. So I've learned that when putting on body filler, you want to put it on going with the curve. So in other words, I'm going to use my spreader in this direction, and I have to build up a little bit of, it's a little bit of a low spot here and here. So I have to build up a little bit here. So I'm going to actually start by kind of doing like a little bit of a dab in a few places. So, you know, I'm putting it on a little thickly in a few spots. And like that. And once I start getting it in a few places, I can then kind of do a sweep and come all the way across. Another thing I've kind of figured out to do is, let me clean the spreader off here. Spreaders are flat on one side and have a little angle taper on the other side, and usually the leading, or the edge, the spreading edge on the side with the angle taper is a little rounder than the backside edge, which is a little sharper, and I have found that I like using that rounded edge a little bit more. So I'm always applying the filler with the spreader with the angled side, you know, holding the filler, so going down or up that way. And I have found that makes it a little smoother and a little nicer when it goes on. So again, I'm kind of starting to put some globs in place. And when it comes to edges, you know, don't be afraid of going a little bit over an edge, because when you're sanding it down, you can sand that edge pretty easily. So once I start putting a few more blobs on here, or like this hole, you know, I can clean that hole up later once it dries. And I'm going to put a little bit right up to the edge of the door here. Make sure that I get full coverage there. And so once I kind of start building it up, then I can start to do kind of just moderate pressure. If I apply too much pressure, I'm going to squeeze all the body filler away, and then it's not going to build up as much as I want. So I've actually found that a lot of times I was squeezing too much and didn't do enough building up, and then I would have to do another layer. So like here, it's starting to tear apart because I don't have enough base filler there. So I'm going to have to kind of put another glob in place, clean off my spreader, and now I should kind of be able to do that wipe down. And even then, I still need a little bit more in this area here. So it's kind of a little bit of a slow process. You know, put some on, do your swipe, see how it is. Sometimes you got to clean some filler off of your spreader. Sometimes you got to put a little bit more back on. Sometimes you put just a little bit less on. Put this right in that spot by that hole. Put a little bit underneath this hole. But the goal for me is I want to put it on pretty uniformly, because that makes it easier to sand off. All the way down to my lift arm. And try to do this again here. Alright, trying to kind of do a final smoothing here before moving on to another spot. So if I've done my job right, I've hopefully built that up about a 1/16 of an inch, not a whole lot. Another little trick if you have little pinholes or very small areas to fill, you can actually use a razor blade as a spreader. You know, you can get a little bit on there, like little stone chips or things like that. You know, if you've got like a little hole to fill or something, you know, I found a razor blade makes a pretty nifty little small spreader. Just to put a little bit on.